So before you can price your jobs profitably, you need to know your fully loaded labor cost per hour, right? So what does 1 hour of labor truly cost you, right? Because then once you know that, then you can actually say, okay, this is how much I can bill. And so let's get started here. So what you need to know is you need to know things like this on the data tab. So if you want this file, there's a link in the description to download it, or just shoot me an email and I'll give you that at the end. So you have your hourly rate that you're going to pay, right? And then you also have your payroll tax rate, which is going to be the sum of these, times this percentage, which is what you have here. And you can see the formula here, benefits, training, truck, equipment, and the overhead allocation. And so the fully loaded labor cost is going to be the sum of these two plus the sum of these. And then you have that, right? And I'm not going to walk you through how to do that because it's pretty basic. It's just a sum. And then you have your full-time or your paid hour and then your fully loaded billable hours, right? Because you have a paid hour column and you have a billable hour column. And so it's just dividing, right? And you can see the formula here. Or if I'm going too fast, you can pause the video. And so what I want to do is I want to break these costs out by month like this, and then also, by the type. So we can do, job type. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing we need is we need a list of the months, which is here. So just type in month and then type in the word January, and then you can drag this down. And then what we need here is we need the fully loaded labor cost for the full month. But before that, we need to actually get the month from here. So you have the dates, and we need to make sure we can strip out the word of the month. So January in that example, February in this example. And you can use the text function, and I'll just redo it for you. So equals text, and then highlight the date, wherever the date is in your data set. And then you can do 4 m's. And if you do 4 m's, you're going to get the full month, meaning like January. But if you do 3 m's, you'll get a 3-letter month of Jan. But we're going to use the full month. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to do the SUMIFS function. So we need fully loaded labor like this. And so what we want to do is we want to take the sum of the fully loaded labor cost column if the month column is January. And so SUMIFS, so the first argument is the sum range. So where's the data that we want to actually sum? And it's right here, fully loaded labor cost, comma. And then we want this to be the month, because the criteria range 1, comma, and then January here. And so now we have the fully loaded labor cost for January is $47,468. And then press Control Shift and the number 4, and then you can center it here, or you can press Alt HAC, and that'll center it. And I'll show you. So if you press Alt, then you'll see that all the letters come up here. Then H, which is home, and then right here, AC, which is center, if you don't like using the mouse. Okay, then you can just copy this, and then you can paste it down. You can copy this like this, paste it down, or what's faster is you can just double click the corner, like you see that little green square here. Okay, so now we have fully loaded labor costs. Now we need to do the same sum, but we're not summing the labor cost, we're summing paid hours and billable hours. And those are going to be here in the data. We have the number of hours paid, so we need to sum this for January, and then for February, and then for March, April, and then the sum of this as well to get billable hours. So here we have paid hours, and here we have billable hours. So equals the same thing, SUMIFS. SUMIFS, where's billable at? Did we do billable first or paid first? Paid first. Okay, so sum paid, same thing. And so I'll do it a little bit faster here, comma, and then I think it's cell B3. B3. And then same thing here. I can't type SUMIFS. Same thing here. So this time billable, comma, month, comma, and I'm just going to type in B3 because I know it's in B3. B3. Okay, so highlight these, you can double click, you can center, and if you want to remove the decimals, you can also remove the decimals. So now we can do the next part. We can do fully loaded paid cost, and then fully loaded build. I'll just copy these, save a second from having to type. And that's super straightforward. It's just going to be the labor cost divided by the paid hours, the labor cost divided by the build hours. And then here, I'll show you another little trick. Because this has formulas, if you highlight this, press Control Shift and the down arrow, and then press Control D, as in dog, it will fill that in for you. Okay, so finally, we can make the chart. So what we're going to do is we're going to highlight the month, and then we're going to highlight these two, go to Insert, go to Recommended Charts, and then you can see the chart here. And what I'm going to do, just to make it a little bit more dramatic, is I'm going to change the minimum here. I'll change it to like 40 instead of 0. So we can do, I'll show you how to do that. So if you double click on this, you'll come to this little chart. If you're here for some reason, just click on the little chart. And then here you can just delete and do 40. And now you can see a bit more of a range. I mean, if you wanted to change it to say 45, you could do that too. You could even do it at 50 if you wanted to. Okay, so we can call this, say, fully loaded labor cost per hour. I'll make it a little bit smaller. Okay. And then if you want the values, all you have to do is click in the chart and then click the little plus sign and then go to data labels. And then you'll get it. It's a little bit noisy. What you might want to do is you can click on the numbers, click on the chart again, go to number, and let's just make it a currency. And then we'll remove the decimals and then do the same thing here. Currency, remove the decimals. So it doesn't make it so noisy. And so yeah, that's how you create that chart. Pretty straightforward. I mean, the hardest part with charts is setting up the actual range, to give you the summary stats that you're looking for. Building the actual chart, once you structure everything properly, is actually pretty easy. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to do this section here, which is by job type. So the same exact, things here, but by job type. So to get a unique list of the job type, we want a unique list of service type, not job. Well, same thing, but service type. I'll just copy that, paste it here. I mean, you can just copy, this if you want to, but I'll show you how to do it faster. Equals unique, and then from here, you can just go and then highlight the column that you want the unique stuff. So it's going to remove all the duplicates. And you'll see you get a 0 here because you're highlighting the whole column, meaning like you're highlighting blank cells and blank cells come back as a 0. A little trick, if you wanted to remove that 0, you could just put a period after the semicolon before the second H, and then just Control-C, Control-Shift-V to remove the formula. And then from here, we want to do the exact same thing. It's just, I'll show you how exact it is. What I'll do is I'll use the exact same formula. And you'll notice, if you click Format Painter here, it'll flip. And what you'll see is that it's still doing January, but what we want to do is we want to do this, and it's going to say 0 because the word install isn't in the month column. But if we just change column C to column H, it'll solve that problem. So here, column C to column H. Copy and paste. And so you can see it's exactly the same. I mean, so much so I could do this, and then I can do the same thing. Change column C to column H. We're good. Column C to column H. We're good. And then here, if you highlight and press Control Shift and the number 1, you'll get the format. And then to be even faster, if you just copy this and paste it here, it does the math on these. You don't even have to redo the formula. Essentially, I just try to be as efficient as possible, and there's a lot of shortcuts you can do to where you don't have to retype the formula over and over and over again. Okay, so now we're going to create this chart here. So we need it by install, service. Well, here it's largest to smallest. That's why. we have it largest to smallest. But let's create this chart. And so all you have to do is highlight service type, hold down the control key, highlight these two, go to insert, go to recommended charts, or you could click here. This will also, do the same thing. But you can click recommended charts just to give you some ideas of maybe different ways that you might want to do it. But here we can just do this. Okay. Make it a little bit darker. Call it fully loaded labor cost by service type. You can also add, by hour, by whatever, and then make it a little bit smaller. Okay, so that's pretty much how you do that. If you want to remove these decimals, you can double click and then you can change the number here to 0. And if you wanted to see the values, you can click, maybe you're more interested in your fully low, because at the end of the day, hold on a second. So data labels, if you just want those, right? Because at the end of the day, what you care about is you care about your paid hours, right? Like how much am I paying for total hours, not by build. And so that is how you can create these charts. I'm gonna take the data labels off. I don't like the way they look. And then also, if you wanted to change this just to show it a little bit more dramatically, you could change this to say 40, and you can see, how it changes. And so anyways, that is how you can create the two charts that I told you I was going to help you create in the beginning of the video. Do this here. And so yeah, so you have these two. And so yeah, if you have any questions about this stuff, just let me know. You can, if you want this data source, again, it's going to be in the description, but you can just shoot me an email. Question@databoards.io. And also, if you need some help, with your day-to-day stuff, you can also shoot me an email there, or if you want, there's a form you can just fill out, to set up a time to chat. Just ask a few questions, Anyways, that's all I got in this video, and I will see you in future videos. If you're interested in this type of stuff for HVAC, I'm doing 160 KPIs or 200. I'm not quite sure yet the exact number that I'm going to be doing. But yeah, I'll see you in future videos.